Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no illness. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to stay inside for, and no mass media too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. They may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday they'll join us, and the world will be as one, and the world be as one.
Hey, having a good old dance, and I was enjoying it. That theme music makes me feel happy, Ernesto. And how are you today?
I am a little bit confused.
Oh, bless. Well, don't worry. You're still married, and she still loves you. She told me that, so it's not a problem.
This world is getting crazier by the second. Yesterday, I went to get some groceries. I needed to get out of the house. So when we actually, when my wife told me, well, I want to go for groceries, I said, I want to go. And then I started just seeing what was going on there. And it is weird what is going on out there. And then you get to see the news. I mean, now Trump is suspending immigration to the United States. Kim Jong-un is very ill. The price of oil is going down. I mean, I was just, yesterday, I think like in every situation, and I mean, no matter how much of a cheerful person you are, it gets to you. I mean, this absolutely gets to you. And as I was saying yesterday, I mean, I feel a little bit like the musicians in the Titanic.
I know exactly what you mean. You're playing as the ship goes down, trying to keep everybody happy and distracted. I'm thinking, I don't know if I can float on top of this violin. I know exactly what you feel about that. It's a challenge. It's really hard to be a cheerleader sometimes. And I don't think we should be. I think we should just be realistic, and we should share with people what's really going on, because otherwise it's BS. We don't have to tell everybody that life's rosy and so on, because I don't think it is. But I do think that what we have to be able to do is be realistic and be and empathize with people from where they are. You said you went to a supermarket yesterday. Supermarkets are creeping me out. Now, we're only allowed to go every 3 days now in Dubai because they've limited it. So we're due for me to go to the supermarket. But it's such a weird, antiseptic, strange experience going in with rubber gloves on, going on with a head mask on, not saying hello to anybody because you don't want it to turn into a conversation, because then you have to get close enough to hear what they're talking about. You're also wondering, am I getting enough stuff to make sure that I'm okay because I can't get back in again? And the whole thing is just surreal. It's like a weird dream. It's literally like a dream that you wake up and go, thank God that's not real. But it is at this moment in time. And I realize that the fact that we're talking about how surreal it is going shopping, there's lots of other people who have many other concerns and many other tougher times than, oh dear, I don't want to go shopping. So I sympathize completely. Our problems are literally, first world problems. My hair's getting long. I actually cut my hair today. You can't see it if I go like that. I sat there with a razor, just went vroom, vroom. It sounds like a motorbike. I just took everything off as much as I could do because I thought, well, nobody else is going to see it. And then I thought, no, you're going on your show. Everyone's going to see it. So I probably got a big bald patch on my side here, but I never turned around, so that's never going to be seen. But that's just life. I mean, I find it an utter pleasure to see you every day. And I hope that people enjoy tuning in to see us. And if they don't, we're here anyway. So there we go. So
I think that's why we are selecting right now the entire series, the entire week called Imagine. And I love how the whole thing starts. I mean, I love this guy playing Imagine in the empty tube station in London. And I think it's just really weird to see how we are actually trying to imagine what's going to be happening. I mean, in some places there's a little bit of civil unrest. Some people are. It's just becoming crazy. I mean, I think every single morning when I wake up, I open my eyes thinking it's Groundhog Day, and then suddenly I said, no, it cannot be, and then things are going on completely weird. So on this series, what we're going to be doing is we're going to try to make sure that we try to interpret what is happening today and try to put it into perspective so that we can plan ahead. Because right now we are being in a place where we have never been before. These set of circumstances had never happened before. And my guess is as good as yours.
Absolutely.
But the difference is that we are doing all this research. We're doing all this trying to put all this information together so that together we can navigate these crazy times.
And also, it's very important to have your eyes on the prize. In order to get out the other side in a relatively sane state, you have to play a game every day of pacing yourself and moving one step, even if you're not sure where you're going, towards the other side. It's literally like being in a tunnel in the dark. And you know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you're not sure if you're going in a direction, but you're just still going to take a step cautiously every day. We know that there's a number of things that are absolute, and we know there's a number of things that are going to change. And every day we make a point of just looking at it. I mean, if we look at the oil prices, for instance, if you look at the way that right now the oil prices are dropping at a crazy rate, but nobody's in their cars and taking advantage of it. Certainly in Dubai, nobody's driven around for a very long time. We're all under kind of house arrest. But it's by choice as well, which you all buy into. And I think that oil prices are going to keep going down, which leads to all sorts of interesting things. I also think that...
How much can you go down? Right now, it's minus $37 a barrel.
I know. The oil companies are paying people to
when I went to sleep, it was just in few cents. I think it was 35 cents. Now it's minus. So basically, it's $37 less minus. Now that doesn't mean that when you go tank that they're going to actually pay you $37 to take a liter of gas. I mean, of course, it's not going to work like that. What happens is that there's a humongous amount of surplus because nobody's using it. I mean, there's no cruises, there's no airplanes, there's no cars, and this is exactly the reason. So how do you interpret those news? It's just insane.
It's crazy. And with the oil prices, it'll be interesting to see how much that's affecting people all around the world, and where it ends up going as well. But right now, the oil companies are paying for the privilege of just take our oil. We've got nowhere else to stock it, and if we stop making it, everyone closes down.
This, I think, it has twofold situation. Well, first of all, in the short term, I think it's going to work out well. I mean, I think it's going to be good because, of course, I mean, it's going to lower the flight prices, and people are going to use their car more to travel and do some trips or whatever it is. And I mean, there's some positive sides of it, of course, looking for the lining, but for the silver lining. But in reality, I mean, most likely what's going to happen is, I think this is probably might be even the beginning of the end on the oil industry. There's going to be a number of different things that are going to disappear. There's going to be a number of different things which are going to change. And yeah, it's going to be, it's just very difficult to understand what the hell is going on.
Absolutely. I was watching a video about that on CNN earlier, and it's kind of shocking, but also fascinating, because that is going to be the same in many other industries. If you find that the price of petrol goes right down, there's going to be a number of industries where people are just going to buy cars, and they'll set up businesses where traveling is not a cost. So I think it's a shake-up. In many ways, it's bad if you're invested in that, but for many other people, it's going to work out to be better, to be honest.
Yeah, we do not know. Well, now, I mean, just look at also how it is on the airline industry. Not on the airline industry, the airports. I mean, right now the airports are under 90% empty. So I mean, there's only 10% of the flights. How are you going to support those buildings? How are you going to support those runways? How are you going to support all that equipment that you have there? I mean, what's going to happen?
The thing you end up with, unfortunately, Darwin's theory of evolution, where you're going to end up with the strongest surviving. So you'll have the people who run them going out of business, and then you'll have all these shells of airports that'll be put out to tender, and people will just come in and take them, just like football teams. Somebody with money saved up, waiting to snag something, will just go, you know what, we could buy this and we could build it and we can have a look at it and we can start putting stuff together. And it's like when you play Monopoly, you know, you get yourself an airport and it's a license to print money. Right now it's not, but it's not going to stay like this forever. But there are going to have to be a few business models that change as a direct result. And for airports and anybody in the airline industry, it's a kind of worry as to when it will actually get back on track again and what form it's going to have. Is it going to be purely for logistics to carry stuff from A to B, or will we actually get people back on planes again?
Yeah, I agree. Now, this reminds me of, this is more or less the condition in where we are right now. It's a very short video, but I think it's going to help you more or less understand how most people are feeling right now.
I get it. I get it. That's exactly what it's like looking out of your window. If you're lucky enough to have a window that looks out onto the street, you might not. You might be in a windowless void, in which case the challenges are even worse. But yeah, that's pretty much how everyone feels at this moment in time. It's really bizarre that it should be like this, though. It's really bizarre that we should all just close it all down. I don't know what percentage of the planet is in lockdown now. I know we were talking about 50%. I wonder if that's grown since we last looked at the figures. It has to have. We should find out. I'll find that out.
Well, what happens is that you know what, and I was watching an interview with Stephen Colbert, and Stephen Colbert was interviewing Trevor Noah, and it was a very funny thing because I was feeling, well, you know, I know exactly how it's been done. I mean, it was done in exactly the same way as we're doing it there, and Trevor was saying, you know, what I sometimes forget is that it's not only me which is here in isolation, so I see only my internal world, but the external world is also in isolation. So everybody's experiencing the same situation, but you of course just think that the rest of the world is still happening and all things are happening, but everybody's still in isolation. And once again, I mean, if you put it into an entertainment environment, I suddenly saw this video, which first I thought it was just going to be very endearing and very sweet. But then if you watch till the end, you're gonna laugh. But also, it has a very powerful message. Have a look.
All right.
You're my sunshine, you're my best times, you're my anomaly. And I'd choose you in 100 lifetimes. I'd choose you in 100 worlds. I'd find you. And I'd say I do.
I knew it was coming, but I'm stuck in my head. I think that's brilliant. I think it's genius. And a sense of humor will get us through everything anyway. So that's kind of perfect.
We are like the cats, just on the invisible wall. And then we are getting all this stuff, which is we have no clue where it's coming from. I mean, what's the origin of the cups of information or whatever is happening? I mean, I have to say that I try to use my imagination because, of course, this series is Imagine. And there's some ways that I just really absolutely do not understand what is going on or what is really happening. So, Dave, you were mentioning about habits, because I think we are now developing some good habits and some bad habits. And I think habits are going to be what we're going to take out of this. I mean, according to the experts, they say that you require 21 days to create a new habit. However, I do not really support that theory 100%, because, I mean, if suddenly they tell you, well, if you don't stop eating tremendous amount of fat, you're going to have a coronary, you're going to have a heart attack in the next few days, and then suddenly you stop doing it. So you can do it very fast, but in order for you to stick to that habit, it has to be 21 days. Now, it's been over 21 days. We're actually getting on month 2 of this isolation. And we have developed a number of different habits, which, Absolutely. Of course, we're going to take into when the whole pandemic is over. So you are the expert on NLP. You are the one that is going to basically help us understand this story, because honestly, it's another of those things that I am more confused.
I've got 4 bad habits to point out to people. I know as soon as I start talking about them, everyone's going to start looking at their feet and feeling guilty, probably including myself. So let's get to the very first of the things that happens from the pandemic, from being shut away. And we should address them now. But I also think you also need to keep your mental health. So as long as you've got an ear to the ground and an eye on the problem, it's something you can be aware of fixing at a later date. First is fast food. Nibbling snacks all the time because you're bored. Ordering comfort food because it's got lots of MSG and E numbers and stuff in it, because it just makes you feel full and fat and happy, and it's tangy and spicy, and it just allows you to bloat. That's a big challenge for many people at the moment. So we have to stay on top of that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but I don't know how often you did it before. But now you're getting zero exercise in many cases. So cutting down on the fast food, healthy eating, even ordering in from healthy places is a better alternative if you can get to it, and just treat yourself once in a while to this when you're ready. Next on the list of bad habits is lack of exercise. Because for most people, the only exercise you get is getting up from your bed, going to a different room, sitting down, getting up from there, going up and down the stairs, maybe. If you're lucky and you've got a sort of an okay lockdown, then you're allowed to go for a walk, maybe walking with dogs. My dogs haven't been walked in over a month, and they're going stir crazy. And we have to keep an eye on them for exactly that reason, because bless them, they just need space. So if you find that is a case, lack of exercise, there's also lots of chemical reasons you need to do it. I would also recommend that what you do is you look at maybe an afternoon, you take a drink of water or something that sort of like makes you feel chilled out. And then what you should do is there's so many people offering exercise routines for working at home. All the life coaches that did the same thing, the exercises, the gyms, there's free ones online, and it all uses your normal furniture and your normal space on the carpet. So just Google it and you'll see so many, and many celebrities are offering it as well. I mean, Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor in the Avengers, is creating one of the most popular ones in the world. So find who you want, who looks fit normally, and there's probably a routine there. Number 3 is social media and coronavirus news. Now, this is normal. We've got all this spare time to go on to have a look at social media and just check on what we're up to, but it becomes obsessive. If you post something, you can check 3 times a second to see if anybody's liked it or shared it or commented. You got to keep yourself so busy that you're not doing it. At the same time, it's not good for you to keep checking up on the news because most of it's bad. I trained and I was a BBC journalist for many years, and the only thing that sells is bad news. If you say the world's happy and everyone loves it, they go, boring, give us something we should be scared of. And that's built into us as human nature. It's our nature to, when we were cavemen, to notice things that were a danger to us, not to notice things that were happy, because we never know when that danger, if it's ignored, would come and end us. So as a result of that, watching the news on the coronavirus has got so much of a spin on it as well. There's politics involved. There's not telling you the whole story. There's speculation like you wouldn't believe, and people are guessing that this is happening and that is happening. We'll only know the end result later on. Meanwhile, stay safe. Okay? And then the last thing is literally lack of structure and discipline. People staying up till whatever time in the morning, going to bed at whatever time. It's really easy to not have to worry about what time you go to bed. And I've fallen into this last couple of days, I've got to be honest, because we've been chatting till maybe 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock my time, which for you is just early afternoon. But for me, it means I've got to get some proper sleep. Otherwise, I sleep in the afternoon. Now, I have to work around it to make sure that we can do this show, because I don't know if people know it, but right now for me it's late night, and for you it's mid-afternoon. But that's the time scale of Houston and Dubai. But it's very easy to lose those things, lose your sleep pattern, lose your effective eating, planning your future, looking after your business, especially if you're not doing your business and you're stuck at home. So those 4 things are real challenges that we should get our head round in order to be able to come out of it with good, effective habits. And I know people are saying, yeah, but Dave, it's too difficult. I know it is, but I'm just saying because I'm really boring and I want to help.
I absolutely, I am guilty of some of them. We're getting here some messages from Johnny Morney. He's also telling us that he's guilty. I'm not sure in that one. Allah is telling us that it's a great time for yoga. We're getting here Janice, which is saying, I work out every morning. So I get, I have also a comment from Frank, which I think it's about the little girl. Frank Mulcahy saying that the little girl is sharing something she was not really, she was doing it with all the love in the world. So anyway, yeah, I definitely see all these new habits that we are creating, and they are going to become a big issue when we get started. But let's also bear in mind, let's try to think about not only the personal habits in which we're thinking about, but right now, for example, I feel safer inside of my house than outside of my house. We have been conditioned as Pavlov dogs. So what happens? That the moment that we are, everybody's saying, well, I have seen some posts in social media that say, what are you going to do the moment that they let you out? Well, I'm going to go out for a jog, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Guess what? You have been trained and conditioned like a dog. And I can guarantee you that that's not what you're going to do, because that's the new habit. Now, that is going to have implications in what's going to happen in the future. That's going to have implications on what's going to happen in the new way of working. We are now on the habit of doing the 30-second commute. Now, do you think that it's going to be very easy to actually start doing the 1-hour commute back to the office? I don't think so.
If you think fast food has left people with no patience for getting stuff cooked, nobody will want to sit in traffic for an hour to get to work and back again. They'll all pull excuses about, let's just be more effective working from home. And I think we're all creating our own special Stockholm syndrome, where people who are being held kidnapped by captors start falling in love with the people that are capturing them, and they create an ecosystem of love-hate just because of that. And we're kind of creating that with our insides of the house. That's the thing that we hate most, but we also start to love it because we had to come to terms with it. And so it's going to be really strange to see how long it takes before people start even just going out. Yeah, people will drive around, but then they'll go back home. It'll take a while before they start going to malls or start going to events. And I tell you what, something that really fascinated me was there's a video on holograms. And I think that the knock-on effect is going to be a huge amount of TV and sports events that get played in your front room through hologram technology. That's going to be something that's going to be very interesting. It's going to take over from having projectors and having HD TV. And I think that we've got something to share all about what holograms will do for the events industry as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is right now we're already starting to see it. This story of we have been coming back to the habits. Right now, we're developing the habit of doing everything through the Zoom. Like I was mentioning yesterday, I have to say it again. I hate Zoom. Absolutely hate Zoom. I think it's crap. However, it is the tool that everybody uses. So if we just basically start seeing what is available since 2013, and we see that there's new ways of doing things, of course, we are going to be seeing a complete different world. So let me just show you this video that Dave was talking about, and then we're going to talk about some of the new things and habits that we're going to start developing soon. Have a look.
Hi, I'm Larry King, and I want to introduce you to the next generation of the holographic experience. We call it ART. It stands for Augmented Reality Holographic Technology. With ART, we can take the world's most realistic human holograms, what we call humograms, and place them in virtually any location a living person could be. You may have heard of our company doing leading-edge stage shows with artists such as Paul Anka, but wait until you see what we're doing in the worlds of digital signage, advertising, trade shows, conventions, and retail. Our humograms will literally change the face of the retail experience. In fact, our humograms are smart enough to scan the crowd, pick out a face or two, and start a conversation. Picture this. You're walking through a mall and our humogram recognizes you, says hello, and offers a special deal catered just for you. That's right, it knows what you like to buy, where you usually shop, and will cater the message just for you. Better still, if a viewer is interested in knowing more, we can sideload a coupon, a web link, or any other call to action directly from our humogram to your smartphone. This will be an interactive experience unlike anything the world has ever seen. The possibilities for this are endless and impact virtually every market on the planet. Hey, I'm Larry King, not just a believer in art, I am now a humogram. How about them apples?
Seven years of old technology, and it seems like cutting edge for now. So things must have progressed. I mean, it's not been adopted previously by everybody, just at stage shows and special events. But I think now is a time when people don't want to go out so much, that the ability to have that somewhere near to you is going to be more effective.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly what I was saying about Zoom. We have here a couple of other comments. We have a comment here from Tracy, which is telling us that many will just be grateful to actually have a job because of, let alone the commute. Yeah, I fully agree with you. And Farouk Mubin is there from Dubai saying, well, habits change and they will change as soon as the situation gets better. Well, it will change. But once again, we have now been conditioned to this. So right now, changing those habits will take time and might not even change. And right now, as I was saying, we were suddenly dumped into a situation where we all had to use Zoom. Everybody was talking about Zoom. We have to use Zoom. and classes were done by Zoom, and everybody was using Zoom. And now we created the habit of using Zoom. And the Zoom thing is just a very funny thing because it's only the only tool that we know how to use. And this is where I think it's very important for you guys to keep a mind open. I mean, I know about how many years do you know from Zoom? I mean, how many years have you known from Zoom?
4 years. 3 years.
3-4 years. And it's surprising that people just are finding out about it right now. While from 2013, that's 7 years ago, we're having the holographic environment. And I have the feeling that, and this is where I imagine things are going to start really moving into that direction. But you see, this is where there's a big discrepancy between, I mean, the technology which is available and the mainstream usage of that technology. So that's just an interesting thing.
Well, I've got an HTC Vive, which is one of those big goggle things that you put on. I've had it for about 3-4 years. And you've got these paddles which become your hands and you can move around. And you've got sensors on either side of the room. And a number of the apps in there are just taking you to different places. One of them takes you to a beach where if you want to do some meditation or you want to think about writing out some notes, one of your paddles becomes a black felt tip pen. You've got a whiteboard in front of you. Everywhere you look around you, you're on the beach. You can hear the water passing. I mean, it's in full 3D. You've experienced it. It's incredible. And you just sit there and make notes. I think there'll be a lot more people who are experimenting and creating their own world from home. And I think that the natural use of these kind of goggles will grow. I think also there's a number of companies that offer the ability to make an office in your home where you can put the goggles on and talk to other people in your team because they'll physically look like they're there, kind of as holograms. So I think we'll see a change of needing to go into office space and the ability to connect much easier as a direct result of this. And as I mentioned, concerts and places and things like that. I've always been surprised that when you watch TV, it's only in 2D. 3D has never really taken off. What was missing was the ability to have it on a patch of carpet in the middle of your room, and you could stand anywhere and see a 3D version of the action going on. There's a number of the movies that have been made where what they do is got one of those 360 cameras. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can see all the way around. And they've put these in the center of proper movies. And so you can, with your glasses on, turn around and see everything that the actors would be seeing like you're actually in the set. And I think that things like that, which seem quirky right now, will make a lot more sense for people when they can't go out to play. Plus advertising. There's no billboards.
Exactly. And right now, for example, there's no, the cost per advertising also in Facebook and Google has gone down tremendously. Right now, even selling feels very bad. I was watching a couple of the videos from one of our friends, and also he's the mentor of mentors, as he calls himself, Joe Bauer. And he was basically saying that this is the time for giving. And this is exactly, we knew it. It was just, we felt it, that this was the time for giving, for supporting, for everything. So right now we're doing it, but once again, that doesn't mean that we're Mother Teresa and that we can just be giving without actually having to. I mean, we have to monetize with somewhere, somehow. And right now, with all these changes which are happening, one of the things that I recommend to everybody, because that's one of the tools that we have available, is the fact that you have social presence. That you are seen doing something good, but not sporadically, because I think you nailed it on the head yesterday when you said the important thing is the consistency. If we suddenly pop up and do something, something funny here, or we post a funny meme, or we post a funny video on TikTok once in a while, that is just not going to work right now, because right now, everybody being in hiding, if you're not there, it's going to be very difficult for you to be there. You have to actually make a big effort to actually show yourself in the medium that we have, because it's this world has changed, and this is the reason why I was saying, yes, we're confused, yes, we're trying to imagine, but it's hard. It's actually hard to imagine what's going on.
I agree, and it's so essential. I mean, right now, it's an unfortunate thing that many millions of people are losing their jobs. And I've talked about this for about 2-3 years. Where was your side hustle? Where was that thing that you started doing as a hobby, as a just in case? That during the time when you were working, you could have done a little bit extra as a hobby, but maybe brought in a little bit of money. If that side hustle, many of them lent themselves to these kind of times by being an online store or an interest in making stuff at home in your part time and all this kind of stuff. These are the ones that are going to be the ones that triumph in the future, because many industries are going to change and just not come back again. And also the importance of creating your online profile. I mean, Frank's saying that. Frank Mulcahy is just put a post there on the comment section. Good to see you, Frank, as well. And it's so important to know who you are, to create a profile, and to let people know how they can connect with you. If you've been in the background and hiding, going, you know what, social media, I don't care. I don't want people to know me. I don't need to have a brand. Well, if you've lost your job, and I sympathize, and I don't want to have a go at you about it, but you can't rely on anybody to care enough about you to look after you and your family. You've got to get out there. You've got to do stuff. So here's a question for you, Ernesto. If you were to fast track how people can build up their profile so they can start becoming relevant and start connecting with people who want to hire their services and get closer to them, what would be the fastest way to do it?
First of all, you need to make sure that you have that consistency. It's not about you. It is about what you're contributing to the organization, to the world, to the company that you're working with. As we were saying, I mean, right now, the biggest heroes are not the heads of state. They are not the army. They are just the workers, which are making sure that the streets are clean, making sure that everything is there. So right now, as Joe Bauer was saying on this training that he was doing, it is a time for serving. And this is exactly where we're in. When people see that you have a serving way of thinking, a service, then people are going to start trusting you. Because what's going to happen is everybody's in hiding. You're gone for a month, you're gone for 2 months, you're gone for 3 months. We have no clue for how long we're going to be in hiding. I mean, if people don't see you, they're going to forget about you. And Completely. If you are simply, posting stupid shit in social media, and pardon my French, but that's exactly what a lot of people are doing. What happens is that, they're going to think that you are just nobody which is serious. So the important thing is consistency. The important thing is making sure that you're helping. The important thing is that you don't focus on you. I don't care about you. I mean, Dave and I, how many times, Dave, have we said, you know what, doing this is incredibly tiring. I mean, this is not an easy thing. This is a selfless thing because, of course, we want to make sure that we are helping. And that's exactly what I keep on saying to absolutely everyone. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the answer that you were looking for, but that's basically what
it's a very honest answer. I think you hit the nail on the head, to be honest. I mean, the selfless stuff. Who's the biggest hero out of this entire experience? Captain Tom Moore in the UK, who's now raised, believe it or not, £27,700,000 for the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, just with a Zimmer frame, going around his garden and being sponsored. The original total that he wanted to get was £1,000. He's going to be 99. He's going to be 100 at the end of the year. He's 99 years old, and he's become the biggest folk hero in the UK, bar none. Bar none. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who's done that during this time, who's really summed up the spirit of giving selflessly to everybody else. And he's old. I think it's actually the Queen's birthday today, so she'll get to meet him as soon as they're allowed to. She's 94, I believe, today. So happy birthday, Liz. But it's just the ability to share. I mean, I posted today about my chair audio. The chair that helps people who've lost their friends or families or loved ones to the coronavirus or for any reason. It's a hypnosis audio that allows people to meet them on a chair in your mind and have closure. And it's gone viral, just putting it on LinkedIn, because it's just of the times. It reaches people. I'm not charging. I just want people to be, and the stories that have come through when people making comments saying, thank you, Dave, it's so timely. My cousin's wife lost her husband on that day. And so she's never had closure, and we can't go and see her. So we're going to send her a link, and hopefully this will help. And it's really about connecting. So that's what I think.
My name is Dave Crane, and it's a tragic fact that many of the people who die from a coronavirus pandemic die alone, in isolation, and their families never get to say goodbye or have closure. I've created this NLP hypnosis audio to allow you to finally have that closure. Remember to celebrate the life, not the loss. And please feel free to share this audio with anybody who needs it. It will get better. You're never alone. Stay safe. Thank you.
I love that video because it's exactly the kind of visibility that we all require. We all have a gift, and the reason why our 30th episode was called The Gift, everybody was sharing their gift. This is a gift week. The two gifts that Dave and I are giving are basically things in two aspects. First of all, the chair, which you can get on the bit.ly Toilet Paper Podcast. Actually, we mentioned it on episode 19, so it's 19 bonus. And the other gift is your digital business card, which you can get in bit.ly my shorty. So far, very few people have actually responded to the business card, and this is just absolutely critical that you understand what you need to do. I mean, what you need to do. It's not about posting, it's about connecting. And this is exactly what connecting is all about. I got yesterday a very beautiful email from Raymond Aaron. And this is actually something that really got me inspired because he was in a completely selfless way. And I tell you, I mean, Raymond is the best salesman in the world. I mean, you just get him on a platform and he's a salesman. But he has a very good heart also. And basically, one of the things that he was doing is he was checking on me. He was simply saying, hey, Ernesto, how are you? I mean, we have been in touch, but I just basically wanted to make sure that you were okay. I mean, if there's anything that I can do, if there is anything that... it was a very short message, something about 30 seconds. It was just a video message. That was it. I have received also from Jen Kinnear, also from Australia, a very nice message. So right now, I am seeing some very beautiful messages of people which are connecting with me. Because as you were telling me the other day, Dave, if people are not checking with you right now, when are they going to check? So, yeah, it's true. So one of the things that you need to really think, I mean, because right now everything is so confusing, one of the things that you really need to do is you have to start creating what's going to happen afterwards. And if you're in complete hiding, if you're not connecting with people, I was just telling my wife, Joan, a little bit earlier on, well, we haven't heard from any of our friends. Well, you know what? If we haven't heard from them, let's connect with them. And let's possibly connect with the kids so that we can invite them to do some activities. I mean, I can do some sort of a house party using House Party because I refuse to use Zoom. So is it clear that I don't like Zoom?
I think we picked it up. We're not going to get sponsored by Zoom, or at least you're not going to in the near future. But if you'd bought stocks in Zoom, you'd be laughing now.
Exactly. Well, we are very great. I am very loyal to go to webinar, and that's why, I mean, I'm very comfortable with it. But yeah, of course, if we wouldn't have Zoom, I think a lot of people will be really in trouble. But once again, one of the things that having your virtual business card is great is that it allows people to connect with you directly. And that's exactly the reason why we're giving it to you. Make sure that you go to It's going to be very similar to this blue page that you find it here. We can get it done for you. You can just go to bit.ly myshortb and then fill out all the information. The secret code, because of course I don't want everybody just to get it done. The secret code is toilet paper. And if you just get toilet paper written there on the secret code, we will be actually doing it there for you for free. So yeah, that is basically what I think it is. It is the best way to connect and things to do. So let's just finish with this video, which basically explains what Dave and I have been talking about already for a while, which we have to think of pre-corona and post-corona. Have a look.
The COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to change our routines, lifestyles and habits, and many will be desperate for life to go back to pre-coronavirus days. But until a vaccine becomes widely available, society will undergo a radical transformation. Here are some of the changes that could be introduced in the UK when lockdown is over.
Right now in Denmark, we are opening up the workplaces. There are so many different areas in a workplace where you need social distancing that we've never thought about before. And I mean, we're waking up to a new normal. So even if you're waiting on the coffee maker, if you're standing in line at the canteen, if you're sitting on the bench, you need to be aware of social distancing.
Britain could look at California's roadmap when it comes to businesses. They will need to adhere to physical distancing measures such as staggered seating and have deep sanitation and cleaning practices in place. Scientific advisors are reported to have told the government that working from home will be encouraged indefinitely. A team of experts at Cambridge University has made hundreds of suggestions. Ideas include shops introducing minimum spends to discourage short and frequent visits, and slots allocated based on the first letter of people's surnames. This project, started in Denmark, uses footprints designed by artists, families and others to remind people to keep their distance.
The devil is in the detail. There are basic human reactions that we need to take into consideration. So what we've integrated into the footprints is the color blue, because blue colors make us feel more calm and more aware of that there is a hygiene perspective here, which is really the message we want to get across with when it comes to Corona. We do not want panic. We do not want people to get afraid, but simply stay calm and be aware of hygiene and keeping a distance.
The government is said to be looking at a regionalised approach to reopening schools, with those outside towns and cities with high levels of the disease reopening first.
Right now in Denmark, we're experiencing a lot of anxiety of letting the children back into schools because they are having a really hard time keeping social distance. So figuring out, in the schoolyard, in the hallway, where do we need to be especially aware about social distancing?
Advisors are looking at dividing the population into different risk groups. It would allow young, healthy adults to return to work and play their part in jump-starting the economy, while the most vulnerable remain shielded. We could become subject to regular checkups, like the ones introduced by Singapore and other Asian countries in the aftermath of the SARS epidemic. Several apps have recently come online tracking symptoms throughout the country, which could give public health officials an idea about where hotspots are so they can be locked down early.
Sobering thoughts all around, but I guess that in many ways, because it's human nature, everything that we see there that's a challenge, people will find ways of monetizing it and making it so it's commercially inviable for people, and also becomes fun. So there'll be a lot more conversations, a lot more games. There isn't a physical game yet called social distancing, but there will be. I guarantee there'll be stuff that happens just as a direct result. So it will come full circle. And right now, anything that makes the world better, it's fine by me. You know what we should do tomorrow, Ernesto, because we're saving the real estate stuff? Let's do imagine what you need to be able to launch yourself on the world. Let's do it so it's all power stuff. stuff that you need from home, stuff you need in business, tools that you need that may not have been invented yet, but there will be. Let's look at the power of what you need to be able to reach that with our Imagine series. So tomorrow should be an incredible show. I'm excited about it as well. The possibilities are endless, and there's nowhere I'd rather be at this time of night, apart from maybe in a cinema. And that's not going to happen. So looking at your face makes me happy every day. So on that bombshell, I'd like to say thanks for sharing everything. And thanks for joining us, by the way. We're here every single day just for you. Spread the word, tell your friends, and please let us know when you are there, because we'd love to talk to you. Have a great day or evening or whatever it is you've got lined up. And we'll catch up with you soon with Toilet Paper Diaries.
See you tomorrow.